Mixing knock basses. So there's a couple things that I like to do to make sure that number one, the knock bass and the kick have a good relationship where, you know, the kick is punching through and it needs to, the knock bass is punching through and it needs to, and they're not stepping on each other's toes. And the second thing is making sure that you can hear the knock bass when it plays back on any type of system. So I'll take you through how I did that for this remix. All right, and I'll just solo the actual kick and the bass part so you can hear that. The first thing I did when I started mixing this knock bass is I duplicated the channel and I separated it into a top knock bass, which was meant to be really gritty and distorted, and a bottom knock bass, which was meant to be kind of the subby region and stay a little bit cleaner. This is the top knock. Right, so you can see there's not really much going on below 100 hertz. It doesn't really have any sub information, but you can see the distortion from all these layers. And that's going to allow it to come through on any type of system that it plays back on, phones, laptops, whatever. And the bottom knock layer sounds like this. It doesn't have as much going on above 100 hertz because we have our top bass taking care of that, but it has a nice kind of clean sub. I don't always separate out the top bass and the bottom bass, but in this case, I felt it was easier to get the balance right between the top knock and the bottom knock. And I could also really drive the distortion. You can hear how much distorted the top layer is without distorting or messing up the clean sub in the bottom knock that I was looking for. Once I got the actual layers of the knock bass sounding how I wanted, the last step was to make sure that the kick and the bass weren't stepping on each other's toes. At this point, I find it's easiest to bounce everything down to audio so I can really see where the notes are starting, where they're ending, check the phase, all that stuff. Up top is the kick. This is the lower sub layer of the knock bass, and this is the top layer. It was simple to do. It was just a matter of figuring out where do I want the kick punching through and where do I want the knock bass punching through. Usually on the downbeat, so here on the 1, here on the 2, we want the kick to punch through and we don't necessarily want the subby part of the knock bass to be playing at the same time. That's going to be a lot of sub playing on top of each other. It's going to be really loud and maybe open us up to phase issues and that type of thing. I can just delete the subby part when the kick is playing to make sure the kick has room to come in and do its thing, and then make sure where they do overlap that the phase is lined up as best as we can do it. And that way we get a really nice continuation of the sub from the kick into the sub of the knock bass. And the reason we can do this is because we separated out the layers. Our ear latches onto the top bass, which is playing at the same time as the kick. So it gives the impression that the knock bass is happening, even though it's really just the kick and then the tail of the knock bass. This is the remix I did of White Iverson for all of the DJs out there. It's a free download. Hope this helps.